Is Canon getting ready to release another low-cost entry-level APS-C camera? A camera that costs less than the Canon EOS R50 at $679? And what about a new affordable prime lens, a 28mm F2.8 that sells for less than $300? Well, stick around because I've got all the details coming up after this short break. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really does help this channel grow. And for everybody that's already a subscriber, thanks so much for your support. The Camera Insider just published a story on a rainy Saturday about a new entry-level Canon mirrorless camera that will cost $479 for the body alone, $599 with the kit lens, and $829 with 2 kit lenses. We're also supposed to be getting a new affordable lens, the RF 28mm F2.8 STM. However, the Camera Insider does say that this is coming from unvalidated sources. It was supposed to be a quiet, rainy Saturday, and well, it pretty much is. It's been raining overnight, it's been raining all day long, and I spent the first few hours of today actually going to Canadian Tire, Home Depot, to get some flowers to do all the flowers, because it's a long weekend here. It's the May 2-4 weekend, and quite often you see a lot of sales on flowers. So I've been out doing, well, planting flowers, getting all the bins set up, getting all the garden set up, planting my tomatoes, doing all that wonderful stuff. I came inside, relaxed a little bit, played a little bit of video games, something I haven't done in a long time, and then I noticed there was this new rumor. It wasn't on Canon Rumors, it was on the Camera Insider saying that, look, we're getting a new entry-level, affordable APS-C camera. I kind of scratched my head a little bit because I thought, well, wait a minute, isn't the R50 that affordable camera? Isn't the R50 what we've been looking for in a long time in terms of an affordable camera from Canon? I get it. I do understand that when it comes to affordable APS-C cameras, the under $500 market is a rather big market, or at least it has been. You see, as smartphones get better and better and better and better, do we really need to, is there really a market under $500 for, well, a camera, an APS-C camera, especially when we look at the capabilities of the Canon EOS R50? I mean, the R50 can do 6K over sample 4K, it can shoot at 24 frames per second, and it can shoot at 15 frames per second continuous. I said 24 frames per second. What I meant to say is it can shoot 24.2 megapixels. The continuous high-speed shooting is actually 15 frames per second. But for a camera that costs $679, it's a very affordable camera with a lot of capabilities where the cripple hammer really hasn't taken hold. So a camera that costs $400 odd, what was it, $479? Yeah, $479 for the body alone, $599 with a kit lens. That's still $80 less than the R50. What is Canon going to do to segment it further? And is it going to segment it to the point where it just doesn't make sense? All we have to do is look at the Sony ZV-1F. They brought in contrast detect and a few other capabilities, such a significant rolling shutter, that the camera doesn't make sense when you look at, well, your smartphone. However, there is one very valid point that has been pointed out before. Canon is killing off the EF-M mount as well as the KISS line of cameras, which is basically a different badging on the EF-M mount, the M50, the M6 Mark II. All those cameras, that line is pretty well being abandoned. So could this be a way of Canon continuing that line, or continuing the thought of that line in the R system with the RF mount? Well, it's potential. It makes an awful lot of sense because in Europe and in Japan, the KISS line made a lot of sense. The EF-M mount made a lot of sense. Because one of the important things we need to realize that here in the United States, when you look at the cost of cameras, let's say the R50 at $679, you're thinking like, yeah, what's the point of saving an extra $100 or $125 or something like that? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But when you start to look at Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Japan, and the entire European continent, well, when we see the exchange rate come into play, you're no longer looking at just a gap of $100. You might be looking at a gap of several $100s in Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, or several hundred euros or pounds. So because of that exchange rate, the KISS line and the EF-M line might still make sense, or at least cameras priced at that point, because the KISS line, the EF-M line, still sold quite well in these markets. But here in North America, in Canada and the United States, I don't really think so. I don't really think there's a market for a camera priced at around, what, $479, $599 for the kit, and the double lens zoom kit for $829. I'm really hard pressed to understand where that makes sense when pretty well everybody has a smartphone and the smartphone goes with you everywhere. I don't know. What do you think? Do you really think it makes sense for Canon to produce another APS-C camera, one price less than the R50 at $479? Look at Sony. They're starting to release several APS-C cameras. We're starting to see this. I don't know what it is about 2023, but we're seeing an awful lot of APS-C cameras being announced. Are camera companies going crazy? Are they focusing on a format, a sensor that really doesn't make sense anymore? Are they really trying to test the boundaries of where people are willing to buy a camera and at what price point? Because we're starting to see an awful lot of APS-C cameras, and Sony is expected to announce not one but two APS-C cameras over the next couple of months. One in July and one coming up this week, May the 23rd or May the 24th, depending on which time zone you're in. So I think by the time we get to September, we might get a little bit bored with APS-C cameras, but it's always good to see what camera companies put into these cameras. What is Canon going to put into this? And see, here's the funny thing. Although we're supposed to be getting an announcement pretty soon and that this pricing information has shown up in overseas dealers, I have to wonder, why don't we have a name? Why don't we have any sort of leaked information about these cameras? I think it's a little bit suspect, but we are definitely getting a lot of cameras being announced, a lot of APS-C cameras. So I think it's highly plausible that we could get another Canon camera that's priced underneath the Canon EOS R50, such as an SL2 or SL3. Boy, I'm having to go back in time to pull out some old DSLRs, but Canon used to produce DLRs that were around $350, $399, $400 and something odd dollars. So there definitely was a marketplace for it, but is there a marketplace for it here today in 2023? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and if you want to stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors, well then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to choose the notification bell. And if you want to stay up to date on all the, I guess, minor news and rumors, or if you like to know what the latest deal of the day is from Adorama or B&H, or any spectacular pricing such as the Canon EOS R5 is on sale, $500 off, and that even includes a $350 battery grip. Like Nikon, well, the Nikon Z7 Mark II, $400 off. The Z6 Mark II, $300 off. Panasonic has sales too. The S1H, I think, is still $500 off. The Canon R3, also $500 off. There's a lot of great deals. So if you follow me on Twitter using this address here, several times a day, I'll tweet out news stories, news and rumors that, well, they're not big enough to have their own separate video. And if I discover a sale like the ones I just told you about, I'll tweet those out as well. And I want to say a special thank you to people using my affiliate links down below for, I was going to say Amazon, but yes, Amazon, B&H, and Adorama, because when you click on those, I get anywhere from 2 to 6% back, depending on which one you choose. And it really goes back to helping this channel, thanks to you, that once Canon announces the R5 Mark II or the Canon EOS R1, either of these two cameras, I'm going to buy both of them, thanks to all your continued support of this channel. So a very special thank you to you. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today, and this channel wouldn't be where it is today. We just crossed that 40,000 subscriber point. So if you've been watching this channel for a while and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. But that's it for now. Have yourself a great long weekend here in Canada. And for, I guess, if you're the rest of the world, you're obviously not having a long weekend, but have yourself a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon.